Welcome back, everyone. I believe we're going to 9.4.2.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Reeve, members of the council. 9.4.2 is regarding the Regional Sports Tourism Committee and the 2026 Winter Games. In early June of 2024, the City of Cold Lake Mayor and Chair of the 2026 Alberta Winter Games Society, His Honor Craig Copeland, requested transfer of the MD committed funding of $250,000 to the Lakeland Region Alberta Winter Games 2026 Society. MD Council has set approved funds aside in a reserve for this purpose. The Regional Sports Tourism Committee is required to pass an annual budget pursuant to the committee's terms of reference as passed by Council. To date, no budget has been passed by the committee, and as a result, the MD has had no approved budget by which to reimburse MD members' expenses. The terms of reference states the following. 1, the initial source of funding for the Regional Sports Tourism Committee will be provided through an annual equal share of funding from each partnering municipality to establish an operational budget. And 4, an annual budget shall be provided to each partnering municipality, including forecasted expenses and potential costs for pending event approvals for their annual budget deliberations. As a result, I have directed member expenses to be paid through the $250,000 held in reserve for the 2026 Winter Games. And the amount of the expenses paid through $250,000 held in reserve for the Winter Games is approximately $917.80, and the remaining balance of the $250,000 set aside by Council for the Winter Games is $249,082.20. The cost and source of funding are through the municipal reserves. Our recommended action is that Council directs administration to forward the remaining funds committed for the 2026 Winter Games in the amount of $249,082.20 from the municipal reserves to the Lakeland Region Alberta Winter Games 2026 Society. There are, Council has several options. Option 1, obviously, is recommended action. Option 2 is to pay the $250,000 and direct us to pay the member expenses from a different budget location, and or option 3, the council refers the request for payment of the funds back to administration for additional information.
Thank you, Mr. Hogan. Yes, Councillor Fadeev.
Yeah, thank you. I find it just at $917 to be a pretty low cost that we put out, because we had the general manager from the C2 Center that went as well on behalf of the MD. So how was that taken care of? And then same with our counselor, or did we have a counselor that went to that or not?
I don't believe so.
No?
No.
To date, that is the expenses that we have received from the members at large. If we haven't received them from a member, if they weren't turned in, we haven't received them.
So we just sent a non-council member to Grand Prairie, was it?
I believe Elisa from the town went, and I believe Les went, didn't he?
Right, yeah,
Les
yeah.
Parsons,
Yeah.
Les Parsons went.
That's
nobody
that.
from
I don't
us.
think Darcy could attend, so nobody else went. That
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
No, he's kind of,
Go ahead.
Mr. Eve, I can confirm that Les Parsons did attend on behalf of Councillor
Darcy
Scarson.
did it. Who
Yes.
did?
Les Parsons.
Oh, for
at that time,
Darcy, right
for
on.
Darcy, and he did not submit any expenses to the MD. However, I don't know how his expenses were covered,
Probably went through the C2.
potentially.
Yeah. Okay.
So what is, sorry,
Yeah, no problem.
so what is the $917 for then?
The daily rate for the committee meetings, I believe, is $150 a meeting plus mileage. It's right out of our,
Okay.
our remuneration policy for council and for members at large.
And then the administration's recommendation is to forward the $249,000, but there's no budget for the Sports Tourism Committee yet?
The Sports Tourism Committee themselves has not provided to any of the municipalities a budget as required by the terms of reference of the terms of reference for the Sports Tourism Regional Committee.
So would we not hang on to that until we get a budget then?
Certainly. The issue is right now, we've been asked by Mayor Copeland to forward the funds that council committed towards the Winter Games, and I don't have anywhere else to take that money from. So if what you're indicating would be option 2 at that case, and just tell me where we allocate those expenses to, because I have no budget for them in our annual budget. There was no budget by the Sports Tourism Committee presented at budget deliberations, and as a result, there was no budgeted money for any member expenses.
Aren't they just sitting in a reserve that we have though right now for that?
The only money we have in reserves is the 250,000 the council allocated to the regional games, to the winter games.
Okay. So if I'm reading this correct, though, the yeah, I think I'm reading this correctly. So but the administration's or recommendation is to send 249,000 from our reserves to the Lakeland Regional Alberta Winter Games Society.
Correct, which is a separate entity than the Sports Tourism Committee.
Oh, okay.
The Sports Tourism Committee spawned the Lakeland Regional Society. They had to form a society to manage the games.
Okay.
The terms of reference did not allow them to hire people, et cetera, so they formed a society. And the 250,000 is going to the society for the winter games, but it all started with the Regional Sports Tourism Committee.
Okay.
Yeah, Councillor Fadave.
So who's all part of the society?
I would defer that question to Ms. Kiambo.
And if you look back, there's no one else you can defer to.
Through the Reeve, it was a very quick process of the establishment of that society. Currently, Mayor Craig Copeland is the chair of that society. Darcy, Councillor Scarson sits on there. I believe he's the vice, as well as Mr. Langridge, and the two members at large from the city, one from the city of Cold Lake and ours from the MD. So Brad Demenchu and Mike, I can't remember his last name, from Cold Lake. So there's 5 people currently that sit on that society. They followed the Societies Act requirements to create a society, but it was very quick, and I don't believe that the society details has ever been presented to council that I'm aware
Yeah,
of.
that's kind of, sorry. That's
Yeah,
kind of
no.
why I'm asking. So in order for it, so as a society, if there's any shortcomings of the budget or overruns on the society's part, is that the detriment to the society, not the other municipalities?
Through the Reeve, currently through their bylaw, it is a standard template bylaw for any society, so it is 100% put on the directors of the society. It's not on the municipalities as the representatives. Like, the municipalities aren't the members, it's the individuals that
That are
are
the
sitting on
members.
the board that are the members.
Yeah, thank you for that, because it's, don't mean to just kind of bring this up, but my thoughts are on this. It's election coming up next year, and this is a game that goes to 2026. As a society, it's run under the members, not the municipalities. How does that go forward after that?
Through
If-
the Reeve, that's a very valid concern.
Through the Reeve, it is entirely possible that the entire Lakeland Winter Games Society is made up of unelected officials or non-elected officials after the election of 2025. That is a possibility, that the entire Winter Games could be run through the society by people who are not elected officials. That is a possibility.
Okay,
Every elected official who will be putting their name forward in 2025, everybody knows that there is an opportunity for the electorate to elect somebody else, and no one is guaranteed a seat. So it's possible that the society could have no elected officials on it
which is, you know,
post-election.
it's not a bad thing, but I'm just kind of seeing how that is supported by us and the MD and council. Okay, thanks.
I guess I'm a little nervous without a budget. Is anyone else a little nervous without any kind of budget? It just seems like they had enough time that started quite a while ago. So,
So for a little background, Mr. Eva, the first meeting I attended of the Sports Tourism Committee, probably 18 months ago, maybe not quite 18 months ago, it in spring of last year, I recommended to each municipality, or or to each member of each municipality at that meeting, that they all say agree to $5,000 apiece, put $20,000 into a small budget that would allow the payment of expenses, little incidentals that come up now and then. The committee at that time elected to not go back to each member municipality and ask for a little bit of what I would call seed money. And since then, they've operated without a budget and then moved towards the 2026 Winter Games. And I don't know that there's I haven't seen other than what was presented to the meeting you and I attended.
Yeah.
I don't know what the budget is for
No.
the 2026 Winter Games either.
well, how can you do a 26 Winter Games without any kind of budget? Like, it doesn't even make sense to me. I don't, I guess we'll have to talk to Mr., our representative, at the next meeting to figure this out. Which way do you guys want to go right now? What do you guys want to do here?
Could we just, not go forward, just and go forward, asking that we request a budget before we approve the?
Based on terms of reference.
Through the REVA to council, you can certainly, it's council's discretion to do whatever council would like. The issue we have administratively is we've paid out almost $1,000 in expenses, and we don't have a line item in a budget to do that with. So at some point, even if a budget were to be produced by the Sports Tourism Committee, they would have to go back to their individual members to put some money into that budget, and then potentially member expenses could be paid out of that. But I do have, we do have expenses that we did pay to the members, and we're just, that amount is looking for a line item to reside in, and currently we don't have a line item. Because there was no budget received for budget deliberations, no budget was created by the finance department for member expenses for that particular. It's not a huge amount. It's just that we want to make sure that our budgets are that everything is accurate and accounted for.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Fadеев. Thank you, Mr. Hogan.
We asked all our other societies and halls and ags to, when they request money, is to provide a budget and all that stuff too. So I would hate to deviate from what we're asking our communities to do, and then just because we're kind of involved in it, we get a free pass. I don't think that's right.
Through the REVE, just
Yeah.
as an update, they did hold a meeting, the Regional Sports Tourism Committee held a meeting just this past month, and the one-year term is up. We're now entering into the second year of the committee. So the chair, as elected through the committee, is now Mr. Neil Langridge from the town of Bonnyville, and the administration side of the committee now falls to the town of Bonnyville. So from an administrative side, the MD is not involved, the administration of the MD isn't involved moving forward with the committee or the logistics of the committee. So everything will flow through now through the town for our Regional Sports Tourism Committee.
So at the end of the day, a budget or no budget, we're going to be forking this money over anyway. So what's the difference right now, right?
Through the REVE to council, correct, the council did commit the $250,000. I'm just suggesting that we take those expenses from the Sports Tourism Committee out of that,
Yeah.
and forward the rest. Council could say, send them the full $250 and pay the $917 out of a different budget, out of cash flow reserves or some other line, and send them the full $250. I'll leave it to council. There's a very gray area between the Sports Tourism Committee and the Lakeland Regional Winter Games Committee or Society. They're really one and the same, but they're separate.
Yes, Councillor Fadеев.
If we decide to proceed with giving them the proceeds right now, when can we see a budget? Because, I mean, you need a budget. We need to figure out what kind of, are they short? on their stuff? Are we gonna need more money from us later on? Is there a way to, crawl back spending? Isn't there? I don't know. I mean, maybe this is just a drop in a bucket to what the end result may be.
So, Mr. Reeve, I think for clarity's sake, I think we're talking two different committees
Yeah.
and two different budgets. So the first one that we do not have is a budget from the Regional Sports Tourism Committee, no budget.
Yep.
I don't know what the Lakeland Winter Games has, other than the brief synopsis that we saw, what was that, probably 90 days ago. But I know we do not have a budget from the Regional Sports Tourism Committee, that is for sure, but these are two separate entities.
Yeah, we're more confused as, option.
And it will come as no surprise to council that I have more questions about the financial side of this, that, for a different time and a different place.
Why don't we just go with option number 2 for now and pay that out of somewhere else and then I think it's a lot less complicated. What do you guys think? Well, not according to this thing, but we can put Darcy's feet to the fire there and ask him what, like we can, because he sits on that board, we can just ask him personally what's going on.
If council were to choose option 2, then I would suggest to make it easy, just out of cash flow reserves.
Yeah, okay. Would anyone like to make that motion or still need to debate some more?
I'll make the motion for option 2 and take off the 1780 out of cash flow reserves.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Slipchuk, for making a motion on that. Council directs administration to forward the funds committed for the 2026 Winter Games in the amount of $250,000 from the municipal reserves to the Lakeland Regional Alberta Winter Games 2026 Society, and furthermore, that the balance of $917.80 be paid from the cash flow reserves. Any discussion on this motion? Yes, Councillor Fidel.
Yeah, again, we need to see the budget, like say, right off the start, when we were having a conversation about this even, being a thought, was the loss of revenue from the Hill being it was the busiest time. And, I don't think that's being addressed at all. I think that's just another ask from the AMD for the coffers. And I mean, it's, I don't want this time here to reflect badly on the Canusu Ridge books. This way, when a time comes and, we're going to be holding administration, responsible, going, well, how come your numbers are so low, right? Meanwhile, it's, $20,000 per day, per day that we're losing, if not more.
No, it's probably going to be more than
Right,
that.
So it's one of those things where we got to keep that in our back of our minds when the revenues come in on a shortfall from Canusu. So, but
Okay,
just thought I'd add that in.
Yeah, any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. That's carried, thank you. On to number 10, correspondence.
Thank you, Mr. Reeve. Members of the council, you can see the correspondence report in front of you. There's nothing specific to point out. A few emails and letters from the provincial government, RMA, the member summary on the amended Bill 20, some correspondence from Leica, and just because there was some short confusion between the Winter Games and the 2025 Centennial Cup bid. Those are two separate things. The Junior A championships that had been applied for by the Pontiacs, they were not successful in that bid. I do not believe anybody attended the NDP caucus at the Calgary Stampede Municipal Affairs Roundtable.
That event actually ended up getting canceled, I heard.
It did get canceled?
Yeah, it's a good thing nobody went down there for it.
All right, thank you. Just looking for a motion, gentlemen? Yeah, Counselor?
I'd like to point out Willow Prairie thanked us for our support for their Farm Fair Days. Was a real good event. It was bigger than last year, better attendance. And as well about Hearts for Healthcare, how the community all came together and raised $325,000 for local medical products and stuff. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Counselor Slipchuk. Yes, Counselor Fadeev?
Yeah, I heard there were some complaints about the Willow Prairie Hall that counselor that was testing the pies where instead of just having one slice, he was having two, and there's none left for everybody else. So I'll know who that was, Counselor Slipchuk.
We won't say nothing about the reason.
All right, still looking for a motion here.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to receive the correspondence's information.
All right, thank you, Deputy Reeve Crick, for making a motion that council accepts the following correspondence as information, 1 through 12. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Okay, that's carried. Reports from members of council. It'll be a little quicker Dana in here today, so. Who wants to start? Counselor Fadeev.
Yeah, I'll start just one meeting. Everybody's going on summer break, so was a recall from FCSS. There was, according to our bylaws, there was one vote that was missed. We couldn't do it on email, so we got called back for the quick vote on that. And yeah, that's about it. So everything else seems to be pretty quiet except for
Thank you.
the summer stuff.
Yeah, Deputy Reeve.
Okay, yeah, I went to the Canada Day parades in Colig and Bonnyville, as well as the breakfast and the opening ceremony in Bonnyville. Also, July 4th, we had a tour of the new BRFA building on the west side of Bonnyville. Renovations are almost done inside. On the 7th here, I went to, there was a Stampede reception hosted by Transportation Minister Devin Dreeshen. Went there. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but they did have maps up, and Highway 28 is listed as an economic corridor, so hoping we can get work done on that. The government of Alberta, they're twinning Highway 3, and they're building Highway 868 from Fort McMurray to Peace River. Those seem to be their big priorities right now. And yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you. Counselor Kraviak or Counselor Slipchuk?
Yeah, I attended Canada Day Parade, Cold Lake and Bonneville. Nice turnout, lots of people. Got good response from there. We had beautiful weather this year for it. As well, I went to Site Lake meeting we had, and we're going to be hosting on September 18th. So that's still, they're making plans, speakers and all that. So looking forward to that event, bring a lot of outside industry to the area and look at our potential. As well, I attended Alberta Hub meeting. Bob Bispalco leads that. He does a fantastic job promoting the Northeast. And I'd like just to mention Gerald Elders, Mayor of Lloydminster. He's the chair, and he does an amazing job, like trying to promote the Northeast. And then after that, I went to the NOGO. NOGO was help for trying to create a district, our own district, Northeast District healthcare. Let people be in control of the area for their doctors and nurses, so we can share doctors and nurses. They can travel back and forth. So it's a real group of people. They're really pushing for the community, for the Northeast corner, to promote healthcare. And I guess that's all I got.
My turn. I had a launch meeting on the 26th. Everything's going okay, except the government made a reclassification of, instead of having like level 1, level 2, whatever, they went to type A, which is a lodge, and type B is extended care, and type C is long-term. Went to Greater North Foundation meeting in Lac La Biche. Business as usual, nothing new to report there. Went into the Canada Day pancake breakfast. Myself and Mayor Brasso worked 2 barbecues making pancakes from 7:45 till 11 o'clock. And Mayor Brasso was always watching my pancakes, and then when we were through, she was making them better than me, so good job, Mayor Brasso. Went to the Canada Day Parade, and also toured the Coppola Building on July the 4th. Everything turned out very good there. Thank you.
All right, you guys touched on a few things that I went to, and Canada Day, I think, was a great success. I also, after Canada Day, I went to the parade in the park and the fireworks and stuff. So, yeah, the town of Bonneville has a new logo and stuff, so they gave me a new T-shirt. So I'm the proud owner of a new T-shirt, so it's pretty good. And they had Honeymoon Suite, so that's way back in my era. So I knew almost all the songs. So still can't sing though, but anyway, right on. Thank you, guys. I need a. Sorry.
Just-
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just one more shout out to our Gear Grabbers event happened
Oh, yeah.
this weekend. And unfortunately, I couldn't attend, but the MD did a fantastic job getting the grounds ready and all that stuff. And our CAO Al Hogan was out there parking cars and trying to tell people what to do. Didn't work as well as the office, but over there, yeah, it was worked out well. But thank you, Mr. Hogan, for helping out. Sorry, I couldn't be there to help out, but yeah.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. I think we all forgot that. Yeah,
Yeah,
go
it was a
ahead,
great event.
Counselor.
I got a couple things, well, 2 more things to say about the Canada Day Parade float. Thank you for the staff for
Oh, yeah.
great job with the goats now. It was a big hit with families and children, the goats. Thank you for your giving of your time that day. And as well as the Gear Jammers, the car show, I went there Friday evening for a while, Saturday and Sunday. I talked to different people. And a lot of them people are from out of town. They come out, they make an event. They were saying, wow, a nice community atmosphere, small town atmosphere, and a cheap price to go to this event. And they make a weekend out of it. So they'll stay at our campsite. They'll stay at the campsite, make a whole weekend out of it. So this event draws a lot of people to our area as well.
Very good. Thank you, gentlemen. I need a motion now to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Thank you. All those I'll call the vote.